Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm MrRedClaw. Welcome back to some more World of Tanks. Now this video actually was meant to come out a couple days ago, but here we are today watching Ouster_Goodnight playing in the one, the only, it's the Badger, of course. Of course also known as the FV217. Of course the tier 10 British tank destroyer with the most damage per minute in the game, just slightly above the tortoise. Kind of like tier for tier, the tortoise is actually better than this, but then this does do more damage, but then it does have a longer reload, so for like tracking tanks it's actually kind of worse than the tier 9, but just for outright doing damage to someone in front of you, it's the better tank. It kind of has more armor. It kind of really depends, of course, who's shooting at you, where you are situated, but a place like this is probably the perfect place in World of Tanks for the Badger over here. Of course, the main weak point being the lower plate. Over here, no one can see your lower plate. It's really just people with high penetration heat rounds that can probably get through your kind of front, as it's kind of flat in most places. But this is, as I said, the perfect place to be in a Badger, probably in the whole of World of Tanks. It's just really the best. You got a mouse in front of you, you got a Malshan, there's an E75, a Skoda T50, which I'm pretty sure has the stock gun and not the auto reloader, but that might not be true. Although he does have the auto reloader, the auto loader, but I'm not really sure what he's doing over there. He is firing high explosive, he did do some damage, but Ouster over here has basically already nearly taken him out, and he's only done about 40 damage to Ouster over here. But let's talk a little bit about this tank. Of course, 4,520 damage per minute in the kind of setup that I think Ouster has over here, with kind of venting system, improved venting system, and the improved innovative loading system, along with some a turbocharger, which is probably a perfect thing to use on this tank. So it only goes 30 stock, so going 34, it's a huge difference, and of course backwards you can go quicker as well. But with this kind of setup, and I'm pretty sure Ouster probably has a good crew, so with Brothers in Arms, 4,520, not really sure what kind of like perks he would be using, so I don't really take that into account, but yeah, quite a lot of damage per minute. Now, you might be seeing one thing is that Ouster has loaded full APCR, which I guess is something you can do in this tank. The stock on the AP rounds, the penetration is 272, which is quite low for a tier 10 tank destroyer, but it kind of has to be to balance out this insane damage per minute. You can literally kill 1.5 mouse tanks a minute if you do well, basically the standard damage of 480, and the penetration only goes up to 320 on the APCR rounds, so that's not even, that's 100 less than the Jagdpanzer E100 has on the heat rounds on that tank, which is a huge difference in terms of penetration. And this tank might have nearly, or probably over double the damage per minute of that tank does, but you can actually reliably pen with the heat rounds on that tank, but you can't over here. But 6,000 damage already 4 minutes into a game, 3,000 blocked, and these arty shells, it is a batch at 155.55, so it's not going to do too much damage to anyone, but it's basically doing nothing to Ouster over here. 80 damage with that shot over there. With this one, it actually didn't do anything, and Ouster is doing the perfect job of locking down this mouse over there. I'm pretty sure he's taken out most of the hit points of that mouse, if not even all of them, which is just absolutely insane. And the impact you need in a top tier tank destroyer on a map like this, with of course tier 9s as well, the perfect matchmaking for this tank as well. Probably it would only be even better if it was like against tier 8s, but that would kind of be overkill with this DPM over here that you have. Not the best of shots over there, but the E75 was actually kind of angled quite well over there. You couldn't see the lower plate. Not really sure what this Object 140 is doing though. Ouster has been here all game, and he just kind of goes in. And yeah, the Object 140 might have really good damage per minute for a medium tank, but compared to the Badger, it's basically nothing. So he shuts him down in 2 shots really quickly. I'm pretty sure the reload 6.37 seconds in this kind of setup, maybe even more compared to what Ouster has set up with the kind of perks on this tank over here. But 7,000 damage with 5.5 minutes into this battle, but there's still actually 3,500 damage down, equal on kills, but 3,500 damage down. That is quite a lot. That is another full health mouse tank that they would have to kill in order to be level on points, on hit points, but it is going down slowly but surely, so they do have quite a good chance of winning over here, as they actually do have kind of like a slight disadvantage, because they might be equal on kills, but they have a self-propelled gun still, and the enemy team doesn't, so that kind of is bad. Now Ouster does a good job over here shooting high explosive, but of course after the changes doesn't really do too much, only 42 to the side of the turret of the mouse, which of course is very heavily armoured. Left him on 1 hit point, but luckily the follow-up high explosive round does the job, finishes off the mouse. And that is probably the perfect thing. Like, Ouster, you really shouldn't take full APCR, but taking those 5 high explosive is a good move, because in those kind of situations over there, that is, I really do that myself. I take high explosive rounds in all of my tanks, and it's always fun seeing when someone thinks that and then it's going to be bouncing off you when they have little hit points left, but you just load the high explosive and then just absolutely annihilate them quite quickly, as he takes a high explosive round from the Jagdpanzer E100 only for 176, so not the end of the world over there, as now Ouster pushes forward towards this E75, who basically has no chance of surviving this. But actually, the first round hits the E75's lower plate at kind of like a weird angle, and the follow-up shot actually bounces off the upper plate, as it's quite well angled as well, and this quite low penetration for a tier 10 tank destroyer isn't really that good to just be able to basically go through the E75's armor just outright everywhere. If you are in an E100 over there, a Jagdpanzer E100 firing the heat with the 420mm of penetration, you could basically just go through the turret front just absolutely everywhere. Now the standard B is doing a good job over here. I'm not really sure that ST1 and the Tortoise are doing over here. They saw that the Jagdpanzer E100 fired, and the thing you need to know about that is that it takes about 22 seconds to reload over there. 20 seconds kind of as quick, if you have it set up correctly, it's about 20 seconds. So they should have really just gone through, because if you was to load the AP or heat shells over there and actually high rolled and taken out Ouster over there, they would have actually been kind of in a bad situation. But luckily the standard B went around, did the correct thing to flank him and take him out. Of course the ST1, I'm pretty sure, put in a shell as well, with Ouster putting in 3 over there, up to 10,400 damage and 3,600 block. This is about 2,000 damage more than I have ever done in this game, and that was actually against playing in my Jagdpanzer E100. So that's just an absolutely brilliant game, and it's actually the highest damage Badger game in December. I'm pretty sure just the highest damage done in any tank in December out of all of them, which is absolutely insane. Now the Badger on the enemy team is actually on full hit points. Actually had a similar situation to this game over here a couple days ago, actually, when there was a full health tank and I had to go back and I didn't have too much hit points. Luckily I managed to get through it, but is Ouster going to be able to manage to get through, as the enemy Badger hits the lower plate of Ouster, is actually using APCR rounds as well, as it is really close. Unlucky for Ouster over there, actually hits the kind of bottom of the tank, which is quite well angled, and actually just doesn't go through. But luckily the ST1 over there does actually do a good job now this time. Goes past, takes up the Badger, and now Ouster is just versus the STRV 1030 with the help of the SD1, the Standard B, and the M53, M55 on his team. Now the SDRV is actually on 3 kills and hasn't been spotted all game, so he is probably on full hit points. So they actually need to watch out, because if they don't play this well, the SDRV could actually take him out in about less than a minute, about 40 seconds. So really gonna approach this tank with caution, as it also has good camo. He actually spots Ouster, but Ouster doesn't spot him. But of course he's going to be somewhere in front that actually has taken some damage, so someone must have blindfired him, or an artillery shell must have hit him before. The SDRV takes out the ST1, puts in a shell against Ouster over here, and now Ouster might have good DPM, but actually doesn't have a quicker reload, I'm pretty sure, than the SDRV, so kind of risky over there, but manages to pull it off. 13,000 damage, 5,000 damage block, an absolutely brilliant game. Let's look at the post-game stats and see what kind of medals Ouster picked up over here. So of course, the ace tanker over here for an absolutely brilliant game in the Badger over here, a steel wall and a top gun for the 7 kills. No high caliber, because Ouster over here, I'm pretty sure when trying to kill the mouse, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure the AE phase 1 on his team went in front, actually took the shell for the mouse, and when you damage a friendly tank, actually doesn't count. I'm not really sure why, because he can't really do damage to him anymore, but I guess that's part of the game mechanics, I guess. 13,382 damage, 7 kills, 1,718 base experience. Now of course, firing only gold this round, or 2 high explosive rounds as well. 242,000 credits lost just for resupplying ammunition over here, and then the 40,000 for the consumables, and another 20,000 for repairing the vehicle. Losing 45,000, but I'm pretty sure when you have basically the most, I'm pretty sure it's like within the top 10 damage is done during 2021. I'm pretty sure Ouster isn't too upset. But for now, that is going to be. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.